Welcome back, guys, and today we're looking at some Mythic Legions, Figure Obscura, Anubis, and Bastet. Now, I don't really collect Mythic Legions. I do like their Figure Obscura line. I have the Jacob Marley, and I really only picked up 2 other items. I have some kind of warrior princess, I guess, coming with a bear, but I pre-ordered those like almost over a year ago. I have no idea where those are or when they're coming. But these 2 always caught my eye. Until I saw them in person, I really wasn't inclined to buy them. And then once I saw them, I really wanted them. So I went to MegaCon, and on the 3rd day, I picked up Anubis. And I said on the 4th day, if there's 1 extra Bastet, then I would get her. And lo and behold, there was 1 left, so I had to get her. Because these 2 are kind of a pair. You don't need to have both of them, but I got both of them. Anyways, on the day that I purchased these, the Mythic Legions actually announced their reissue. They always do them in like a different color, and I'm glad I picked these up because I like this coloring better. So really cool. These are awesome. I've seen them being sold in museums too, so kind of you don't have to just sell these at a toy show or, to toy collectors. I think it's a cool piece to have if you're kind of a historical buff. But I bought these. I think these would look really cool with my Indiana Jones figures. So anyways, really cool box art. I think you have the picture of the gods on the front. Kind of match them up on the other side, even though they're facing the opposite way. And then you get a cool story of both on the back. So pretty cool. This one's still in the shrink wrap, but you can see there's lots of fun stuff in here. So again, this is the first original coloring. They already announced a new one, but I'm happy with this one. So we're going to go ahead and get both of these open and check them out. So I got everything out of the box, but one thing that I think is super impressive about Mythic Legions is that, just the box pieces are pieces of art, and these are more like books. And what's really cool is like these are magnetic, so it feels like a book, but you can take this middle piece out and then you have this beautiful scene there. So I don't know if it's like NECA where they tell you everyone who's worked on it, but the illustration's amazing. It doesn't really seem like there's credit for everybody, but it does come with a book, so we'll check that. But even just looking at the artwork on each of them, so the backdrops look to be the same, but just the artwork on the back of the box, so super impressive. I did keep my Jacob Marley box, so I'll probably keep these boxes just because of how impressive I think they are. So beautiful art pieces in and of themselves, but that's enough about the boxes. Let's go ahead and check out everything these guys come with. So it took me a while to get everything out of the box, and when I first purchased these, I believe I got both of them for about $150. I think they originally retail for $120, which is okay. You pay a little more at some cons sometimes, but I really wasn't sure what the value was. When you get this thing open, you automatically see what the value is. There's so much in here. There's a lot. It's really easy to mix up what goes with what, but I mean, everything's kind of interchangeable in the sense where everything just looks great together. So we're going to go over all the accessories. We'll check out the figures first, but one of the things that was cool, before I mentioned that, they didn't really show credit for the illustrators, but it comes with this pamphlet, and it goes above and beyond. So it shows you all of the people that worked on it. So the character designs, the artwork, all the content layout, because this pamphlet, it's more like a little history book, which I think is really cool. So even if you don't know much about who these Egyptian gods are, you kind of get your history lesson. So Anubis, you get some details on him, and then you do get some information on Bastet, which is really awesome. And then towards the end of the book, if you're wondering, like, what are all these accessories, it does give you information and tells you, what the significance of each piece is. So I think that's really cool, something different that I haven't seen before, not typically a Mythic Legions collector. I think that's why I navigate more towards the Figure Obscura, just because of how unique the line is. I think I saw these selling at the Met, and I believe that is the case because it does reference the Met somewhere in here. So you know, beyond toy collectors, if you're at a museum and you see these, and they're just an impressive piece, not even just as action figures, just as a, you know, you want a souvenir from a gift shop. These are beyond impressive. So really cool. Again, this is just from first glance. I haven't messed with any of the articulation yet. But I think this is a really neat pair of figures, and I wish I jumped on them sooner. I'm glad I got these and not the recolor, because I am more inclined to like this coloring than the newer ones. So let's get everything out of the way, and then we'll check out the details of the figures, and then we'll look at all this stuff. So pretty excited. First up, let's check out Anubis. So first glance, really impressed with all the paint, all the sculpt. I think it looks fantastic. I couldn't tell you if this is reused from other parts because I only have one other Mythic Legions figure, but just the actual detail on this thing is really impressive. All the gold inlays and the jewelry pieces, the headpiece, I think looks super awesome. I love the blue in the eye. And then all of the decorations and garment, I think really an impressive figure. So you do have some soft goods with this loincloth, and then even the gold on the armbands, the wristbands, the anklets, really cool. So you do get some clawed feet there, some clawed hands. I think it's really impressive, and not just on the front, you know, like some Marvel Legends, you don't get paint on the back or paint at all. But they really did go all out. Even the sculpting in that piece right there, really cool. And you can tell there's been a little bit of a wash. Now there's a hole here. I believe there's a tail piece that's supposed to go in there. So I'll kind of cheat and show off one of the accessories now. So you can see the ball joint, and then this is a bendy wire tail. So let me see how hard it is. Again, first time messing around with a Mythic Legions like this, other than my Jacob Marley. That one, I remember I had to watch a video on how to get the chains on. So I'm trying not to look up too much information about these guys. This was an impulse buy. Like, I knew these were around, but I didn't really watch reviews on them just because I was, you know, I was trying not to buy too many new lines. But, you know, when you're at a con, you see things in person, it kind of changes your perspective a little bit. So tail goes in nicely, bendy wire tail. You know, I don't know how that would look good. I'll just kind of mess with that. But overall aesthetics, this thing's amazing. Looking at articulation, you know, you're not going to get much up just because of the headdress, but down you do get a little bit. There is a little bit of an ab crunch, not much. And then the arms, let's see. Joints are pretty tight. I don't know if you're supposed to heat these up normally, but I'm just kind of doing it straight out of the box. So it looks like I can get it there. No bicep swivel, not sure if that's typical of any of the Mythic Legions, but single jointed arms, and then there is a hinge at the wrist. So I do know he comes with a bunch of other hands, and they have either vertical or horizontal hinge. Then legs can spread out pretty well. I'd say that's pretty good. But if you do have one leg spread because you don't want to pull the tunic or the loincloth, then it will kind of be a little tight. But even forward goes pretty well. And there is a single jointed knee, which isn't bad, but that's about as far as it can go. And then has a little bit of hinge at the ankle and a rocker. So pretty good. You know, these are kind of based off statues, I believe. I know in action figures, with other figure lines I collect, I'm used to more articulation, but I think they are making improvements to their figures and sculpts. So, you know, right now, this is great. I don't really need this in some crazy poses, but we'll try and see what we can do. The repaint that just came out, I think they should have done some less is more. Like if you would have done these in like a stone color, completely one color, made it look like stone, that would have worked too. So, but I'm sure collectors appreciate the extra paint and the detail. That's what they're known for. So first impressions out of the box, Anubis is awesome. And taking a look at Bastet, I think more of the same. Just a lot of awesome paint, great sculpt, great detail, and I'm just super impressed with it. So again, looking at the figure all in all, it is some mixed media, so you do get more soft goods. It seems like there's a bendy wire in there. Yep, there is. So there's some bendy wire in there. But I also like the metal fixtures for the earrings. I think that's really cool. I don't think Anubis doesn't come with any jewelry, so that's just really cool to see. So again, great detail on all the jewelry. I like this body wrap that she has. The emblem on her belt looks really good. Again, just really good design. Both had that those claw hands in out of the package and on their feet, so the clawed feet. So really cool. This one, you didn't have to put her tail on. It just kind of came on there. It has this like blue paint going down the bottom. Again, here you can see a little bit of a wash there. So really, really neat. Going over articulation real quick. Again, you're not going to get much back or much front, but I'm sure that's limited to here. Arms go up pretty easy. I'd say easier than Anubis. Single jointed elbows. And then you do have a hinge at the wrist. Again, I think some of those hands that come with the figure have vertical and horizontal hinges. A little bit of an ab crunch, not much. And looks like there's yeah, I can't tell if there's a cut in the waist, but it seems like there's some sort of waist swivel. Yeah, you get a little turn there. And then split-wise, yeah, I mean, you can get these things in a pretty good split. So, single jointed knees, a little tight, not too bad. And then you get the hinge and the rocker at the ankle. So articulation is adequate, I would say. Not too bad. I have the fire and ice figures, and those I would say are laid out the same. I don't know if they kind of took their notes from Mythic Legions, but these seem to move better than those. I think I would prefer some bicep swivel, but the sculpts are so good, I can almost live without it. Plus, I'm a very vanilla poser, so when it comes to really dynamic poses, I'm not the professional. This is fine for me, but I can see if you're a photographer or you really want to get these in some crazy poses, you probably want those things, but I'm easy to please. These look great. They're really fantastic. So let's start breaking down all of their different accessories and check out what they come with. So because there are so many accessories, I'm going to try to break these down like for like. So, what Anubis comes with versus what Bastet comes with, that kind of makes sense in the same world. So you have both of their shrines, and the book actually tells you where each of these are on display. I believe this one's on display in a museum in Egypt, and this one is on a display in a museum in Britain. So really cool. These are pretty nice pieces. We'll start with Bastet first. This is one solid piece of plastic, but great detail. I think it said it was bronze. It looks kind of jade to me, but you can see that wear on the stone, on this wooden platform and the base. And you have that nice silver detail there. The earring, the nose ring, all gold. Really cool. So I think that is neat and cool to have a piece of history, in toy form. So I think that's really awesome. Now, Anubis' shrine is really cool. Beautiful detail. I did have some problems getting the creature onto the base. It doesn't seem like it's fitting all that well at the back, and the tail doesn't stay on as tight as I would like it. So maybe it's me. Looks like it's kind of been chewed a little bit, but I can still get it on there. It's just been popping out a bunch. Now this top piece does come off. Oh, see, the tail goes there. And I thought there would have been a secret in here. The Jacob Marley safe had a secret, which I still have not unlocked. But I guess that's a good spot if you want to hide some of your extra accessories instead of putting them back in the box. So really cool. I mean, I like the gold and the wash that's on it. But let me see if I can get this tail back on here and make it stay. That's like my only gripe so far. But these shrines and statues are really beautiful. So really cool piece. All the gold inlay there. Knocked it out of the park. It'd be cool to see these in person, but for those of us that can't get out to these places, it's kind of like having a own little piece of history in your home. Now we have these urns, and everything I know about these is from the movie The Mummy. If you've seen that movie, this is where when they're mummifying one of their leaders, they cut out pieces of their body, I guess, and put it in these jars. And the mummy, I think it was his tongue, his eyes, his vocal cords, a whole bunch of things. I don't know if that's what they're really used for, but anyway, they're pretty cool. So this is the one that comes with Anubis, has the jackal on top. I think it's a jackal, but great hieroglyphics on the urn. Just really cool all around detail. And then these do pop off, nothing inside this one. And then the other three come with Bastet, and I haven't opened them, but again, great detail. I think this is some sort of baboon. Not sure. Maybe there is a secret in one of them. That one's empty. Then let's see, we have this pharaoh. Great detail there. Look at it, all the paint on the eye. I think that's really fantastic. So far these are all empty. Behind door number 3, let's check it out. I don't know if there's anything in here. Checking out the detail, really cool. And then opening that up. Okay, so these are all empty, but still pretty cool. I think that's what they're used for. You'll hear me reference the mummy multiple times. And let's see if I get that back on. So, kind of cool. These are going to look great to keep. You know, a lot of this stuff I'm not going to put back in the box. I really want to have it out there and displayed. So, pretty cool. Then we get these 3 medallions or charms, whatever you call it. And each one does come with a back piece. So, I'm assuming they didn't have these black bases back in the day, but maybe it's supposed to emulate, you know, what they would be sitting on inside a museum. So this one came with Anubis. Not sure what it is, but great detail on there. You can see the cracks in the stone a little bit. Some gold, really cool. And then these two come with Bastet. So many colors inside this one. It's actually kind of crazy, but really amazing detail throughout the whole thing. And then this one, which I'm assuming is meant to emulate her face, gold, and then you get some nice color there. So really cool pieces. Again, this is museum quality product. You know, just going to science museums, you always get something crappy. If I went to a museum, a history museum, and they had stuff like this, I'd be all over it. Although, as a school-age kid, I definitely would not have had the money to shell out for this kind of stuff. Now we have some handheld amulets, I guess you can say. Let's start with Bastet first. So I guess there's this basket. Not sure what this is for, but it's a great prop that could be used in other displays. Great detail on here. And then she does come with this handheld amulet. So it looks like there's a lion on there. Has this really, really nice wash on the bluish green here. So not sure if this was like a fan or just something you hold to define royalty. Not sure. But really cool. And this is a talisman that Anubis is holding in the actual artwork. And I should mention Bastet is holding this in the artwork as well. And so that makes sense of why that's there. So you can't really see, but there is some etching all on the inside, which I think is super cool. So really nice sculpt there. On the back, there's nothing much, but the front does look amazing. And now for their other handhelds, you do have a staff for Anubis, and whatever the heck this thing is for Bastet. I don't know if this is just a fan or a weapon. It looks like it would hurt. I don't know. But not knowing what it is anyway, there is some cool sculpt on here. So I think this obviously looks like the head of Anubis, so that kind of makes sense there. Has this kind of forky prong at the bottom. Nice colored green with some wash. And then whatever this thing is, has some hooks on there. Was this a counter? Whatever that thing's called. We used to use it in school. Or trap. Not sure. Obviously, I don't know my history. But nice sculpt there with the Egyptian god on the handle. So really cool. Looking at the different heads, I must say that this is where I kind of get a little disappointed. I wish there was one extra thing here, but they all look great, so nothing about that. But you do have this nice screaming expression for Anubis. I think it's really cool. Not sure if that's a scuff. I think it is. It must be, because I don't see that anywhere else on the others. I mean, I think it's definitely not how it should look, but it does have some character. But I do like the screaming head. This is probably one that I'm going to display it with. This one looks more subtle. I would say this one probably looks more similar to like the actual artwork that you would see in history depictions. So they each have this thing on the back, and that's where the headpiece goes into. So if you're just looking to plug that in, you do that there. I don't know why. I guess I'll figure it out when I mess around with it, but it does come with an extra neck joint. For me, if I don't have to use this to get the other heads on, I won't bother. But I'm sure there's a reason. Just hopefully I don't find out the hard way and break it. I tried just to move this joint. It's super stiff. So if I don't have to use this, I'm going to try to avoid it. But not really sure why that's there. I'll have to figure that out. But the 3 Bastet heads, I think, are a little too similar. These two are cool. This is if you want to display the figure without the headdress, so that's neat. This one kind of has more of a bluer tone, if I'm not crazy. But they're all pretty stoic. I do wish there was a screaming Bastet face to go along with my screaming Anubis face. So just a gripe I have. You know, these are all too similar, but again, if you wanted to display these without the headdress, they don't have that little peg at the bottom, but this one does have a peg where if you wanted to put this one on with the headdress, you can. This is the one I'll probably display with just because it has a little more decoration than the actual one that comes on the figure. So a lot more gold there. So for me, I think that's the more impressive one. So when I swap things around, I'll put that head on, and then I'll try to have the two, what I think is the most impressive on there, which is the screaming face and then the face with more of the gold. Now you do get a variety of hands and you get swappable feet. Now I was almost ready to send a message to 4 Horsemen customer service because I didn't think I had any hands for Anubis. But then I looked again and it came in this little baggie, but I was confused because I opened up Bastet first and all of her hands and feet came in this tray. Now I'm not going to pop everything out of here, but it's a mixture of human feet and hands and clawed hands, but we'll just go over what Anubis comes with. So he does come with human feet, and he does come with 2 sets of hands that don't have the claws. So I think if you wanted it to be more half beast, half human, you can do that. But it looks more badass with the claws. So Bastet does come with the same assortment. I think she comes with 1 extra set of hands, and I don't know. I'm just never gonna put the human hands and feet on because I think the clawed feet and hands look way cooler. But you do have variety. Again, I got nervous. I was like, oh man, how's it going to hold any of these accessories if I don't have the hands? But luckily they were there, so I don't have to message customer service. If I did hear that 4 Horsemen customer service is pretty good, but everything's here. So now I'm doing some head swaps and kind of trying to figure out what the difference is between this neck hinge and this one. And I really can't tell. So if you have this figure and you know what the deal is, let me know. I'm not going to mess with it all too much, again, because this is really stiff. But, I'd like to know why, why even put this in? Is there a big reason? Now, hopefully I don't find out now when I go to put the head that I want on there. So, again, I want the screaming head. So I got to remember to put this back on. Let's see. Hopefully that goes in with no problem. So that went in fine. So I don't think I needed it. But it's on there. It's not coming off. So that's good. I got them on there. And just to double check, make sure that this goes on okay. You just got to line up that hole with this peg and push it in. So pretty easy. All right. I'm glad that wasn't too big of an issue. Now I do want him to hold some of his accessories. These hands look a little too wide open. So again, I'll just do this with Anubis just to make sure everything kind of fits nice and smooth. Let's see. So I'll take one of these gripping hands, and this is molded in, so I don't have to worry about that coming off. So I'm just going to twist this hand off. Okay, cool. And that's what I do with all figures. I just twist and pull. I try not to just rip it off. And then getting it in, I do the same thing. So that looks like it goes in pretty well. No problems there. So awesome. So now I can get some accessories in these guys' hands, and let's check out a final look of these figures. Just out of curiosity, I wanted to see how these paired well with my
Hasbro Adventure Series Indiana Jones, and these two tower over them. So I don't know if it's sacrilege to mix up Mythic Legions with a Hasbro figure, but I think for the aesthetic, it does fit well with the Indiana Jones line. So a Dio is definitely due for this. But you know, if man, there's so many toy lines that would go good with these. If there was a Mummy toy line, and you got like Brandon Fraser, I think that would be super cool. But for now, we'll stick with Indy. So I think these do pair well together. Obviously, these are the superior figures, but you know, it's your playroom. Do whatever you want with it. So guys, I must say, you know, it was a hefty price tag, but these two figures are pretty impressive. And normally, I don't think I would drop that much on the two figures, but you know, once you see things in person and you see them at a con, you feel inclined. So, and that's what I like about new toy lines, especially ones that I'm not too familiar with. You know, you get to explore and discover new things. So, Mythic Legions, I have utmost respect. These are really cool. There's, again, I'm not going to go too hard in the line, but I already have that bear and some sort of warrior female on pre-order that I've been waiting forever to get. So I'd really like to get those soon because I want that bear. And I think that princess or the warrior female that goes with it, kind of like a Brave Merida situation. I don't know. It looks really cool. But these guys are really awesome. Definitely going to pair them with my Indiana Jones figures. I think it'll be really cool. And because of all these accessories that you get, this needs a diorama for sure. But until then, I'll start thinking of what I can do with these. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. Hope you guys pick these up if you see them because they are really cool. And until the next episode, we'll catch you next time.